Wildcats, number 6. He's the Eric Shoji Award. He's on the Eric Shoji Award watch list this season. Combined Division I, Division II Defensive Player of the Year from off the block, and it's quite an impressive list to be a part of here early, getting some recognition.
You know, the funny thing that looking at the statistics of the two programs from last year and comparing them to the women's teams that we just did through the fall, that different things jump out at you. The number of digs on the men's side is drastically less, but the hitting percentages jump light years.
Well, we'll start us off here as number 10, Grant Molesky, the server for the Bruins, here in set number 1. Spins and delivers. That one's in, and the net. Wildcats start the season off the 1-0 lead.
And that's one of the things you'll see in the men's game that's different than the women's. Is yeah, they go for aces in the women's game, but the men's game, the serve is a real weapon where they really attack it. A lot of heavy topspin on a jump serve like that. Unfortunately for UCLA, that's in the net. Point Daemen.
Risk reward, as that one's the risk where he missed the opening serve. Moffitt with a serve of his own, blocked. Wingfield with an aggressive play at the net, tipped over by the setter, Jensen. That one's out of bounds off the far sideline.
Good job by the Daemen defense. Is that tip coming off of Jensen was a little bit too high, and the defenders for Daemen got right over to the sideline and knew it was out of bounds.
2-0 to score here. Wildcats lead early. Moffitt again, the jump serve. Pass by Matautia, tipped over, picked up. Kruger goes outside, ripped high off the block by number 7, Ryan Parker for the kill.
Yeah, Daemen's picked a couple balls up here, and they've got a lot of energy on their side. So this is a big match for them to open up against the number 2 team, being in your second year as a program.
Zet goes outside, swung on Matautia. Right side set to Yerington. That one's out of bounds. Tried to go high off the hands. Looked like he actually mishit it.
Yeah, I think Yerington missed that ball. I think he had a seam between the two blockers. Who was that? Jima and Matautia. He had a seam between them, and he just mishit it off his fingertips out of bounds.
Mads Jensen, the setter for the Bruins, will be the server here. 3-1 the score. Wildcats still with the lead. Jensen. Served. That one's off the fists of Jesse Donarovich, unable to handle it. Ace for Jensen.
Yeah, that should have been an easy one for Donarovich. As the ball came to him, instead of reaching out and getting his elbows away from his body, he let him on his rib cage, and the ball just bounced off him. You get it off, you can cushion that ball and make a nice soft pass.
Mads Jensen again. Server here, the freshman setter for the Bruins. This time, the pass up by Parker. He'll get the set on the outside, high into the blocker's hands. Touch picked up on a cover. Jensen, the set outside. Matautia high off the tape. No touch on the block. That's a point for the Wildcats.
Yeah, that was a nice big block there by the UCLA. Who was it? Norris and Jima. Ball just squeaked through on it.
Arrington, the server, jump serve to passer 12 Knight. Picked up, pushed through on the joust, able to scoop it up as Kruger high off the hand by Parker. Jensen goes the big ball, tipped over, picked up by Arrington. That one got a little bit behind the swing of Wingfield.
Yeah, a good run by UCLA. Knight came out of the back row for that tip. The ball was just a little too far in front of him. He couldn't do anything with it. It came over as a free ball to Daemen. UCLA still picked up the point.
Matautia, the server, 4-3. Wildcats still with the lead. Pass by Donarovich. Back row set to Arrington, and that is in the middle of the tape.
Yeah, Arrington was from the back court there. He had an angle to the one zone straight into the corner and tried to pull the ball down in front of him, put it into the tape. I think if he just snaps it deep, he gives him trouble.
Knotted up here, 4-4. Matautia get the server. Topspin serve. Donarovich once again unable to handle it. That one's into the bleachers. 5-4. The Bruins now with the lead.
You see what I mean? The serving here coming from the UCLA and the Daemen boys it's an aggressive, hard serve.
Another topspin. Donarovich, the pass. Kruger outside. Parker high off the hand, scooped up by the libero. Tipped over there. by the middle. Jimma sent over on the free by Kruger. Jensen, back row ball, Matautia tips over, picked up by Yerington. Wingfield gets a touched on the block by Norris. That one's off the block. Rather, not off the block. Parker put it off the tape, off the antenna, out of bounds.
Yeah, he went up, and there was 4 big hands reaching across the net, and he tried to turn down the line and put it right into the antenna. Earlier in that point, UCLA came out of the back row again, that time to Matautia, and they're just a little off on that. The ball's a little high because he missed it too.
That one's pushed outside. Parker high off the hand, gets a second chance, and that one is going to be a point for the Wildcats as the block of the Bruins got a little too aggressive into the net.
Yeah, the outside hitters for Daemen are going to have to put up with that big block. There were 3 people, 6 hands right across the net on him. Parker just went right after him. Got a break as the ball went up in the air, and his second effort to tip it, blocker hit the net.
Parker topspin serve. That one's phased out of bounds. Long. Kofi Jimma will be the server for the Bruins. 7-5, they lead. Jimma, the topspin serve, long. Wildcats will take back over on the service. It'll be Jahari Wingfield, the server here for the Wildcats. Jump serve from Wingfield. Matautia, the pass. Norris gets a swing, and that was a kill by Norris. Able to identify that Moffitt was late in the block and put it off his left arm.
Yeah, Moffitt was late getting out there. Some motion froze him in the middle. Donarovich needs to get, instead of even with the hitter at the net, he needs to step in front of his approach and kind of help, especially when you're one-on-one. You want to take cross-court away, so he should have moved a body width over to block. Norris.
Jump serve into the bottom tape. The Wildcats back to within 1 here, 7-8. The score is set number 1. This first match of the 2020 campaign here for the Wildcats. The setter Kruger will be the server. Jump serves long by Kruger. Once again, the Bruins will take back over. We've been exchanging quite a few of those here early on.
Yeah, we talked about the men's game being all about aggressive serving, but you don't want to miss quite as many as we've missed so far today. Earlier in the season, so I'm sure it'll settle down for both sides.
Alex Knight, the server for the Bruins. To the libero, Gillette. Outside, Errington with a nice swing. Zach Errington put it to Knight in the 6th spot, put it off the far wall.
Yeah, Errington put it right at Knight, and Knight actually stepped backwards with his right foot as that ball came. Instead of, he stepped with his right foot. He needs to come forward and cushion that ball, deflected into the court.
Donarovich, topspin serve, ripped through the middle. Nice run there by Molesky as Jensen's able to find him. Came from behind and able to find some space in the corner.
Yeah, good turn by Molesky. That's a tough ball. Moffitt saw him coming around and stepped right in front of him. As Molesky's in the air, he turns and puts it back to Moffitt's left. That's a real tough ball. He's kind of hidden by the setter, especially somebody as big as Jensen.
Molesky, after the kill, gets the serve to Gillette. Pushed outside Parker into the waiting arms of Jensen. That's a tall block.
Yeah, Daemen's got to find a way. We said before, the outside hitters are going to face. You had Jensen and Jimma over there, 6'10" and 6'8". Those hands were right across the net. What they've got to do from Daemen's side is get something going in the middle so that they'll at least freeze that middle hitter for a count, maybe open the block up.
Molesky again serves to Gillette in the 6. Kruger, right side. Errington into the block as Matautia and Kofi Jimma there waiting.
Yeah, good close by Jimma to get over and press, but I think Errington had that ball in the lane back to the 1 zone again. So if he doesn't go down.
The set by Errington to Donarovich gets it done.
Yeah, Donarovich just took a little off and it dropped on the line. That time he came out of the back court and there was 3 blocks up against him. So what UCLA's done when they do that is run with hard middle to split the block up, and then their back row set is a lot lower.
Jensen back row to Norris, gets the kill off the outside hand of the block, and Parker.
By being lower, it's almost a split ball from when you played about 6 feet above the net instead of 10 or 12, and that doesn't give the block time to close up and regather themselves against the back row attack.
Mads Jensen will be the server here. Bruins with a 4-point lead. This time it's going to be another serve in the net. Seen a lot of that early on. Tried to take a little off it too there.
Yeah, it looked like he tried to drop it short in front of the receivers, and he just caught the tape.
Zach Urington, the server, top spin to Matautia. He'll get the set on the right side into the waiting arms of Parker, scooped up. Have a whistle blow. We have double contact called.
I didn't see that one. The ball got blocked straight down. Nice block by Parker straight down. Somebody down covering must have double hit the ball. First contact, I'm a little surprised at that, but.
Zach Urington, this time served into the net. Bruins will take over on the serve.
We had 3 players in front of us, so we didn't see who even picked the ball up on that one.
14-11, Bruins with the lead. Matautia will be the server. Another topspin here to Parker. Kruger outside. Parker gets the set into the hands of Norris. Norris and Kofi Jim able to combine on that block.
Again, 4 big hands pressed across the net about a foot. I'd like to have a camera right on the net to see how far they cross. Parker's got a tough assignment with that block.
15-11 serves to Parker. Kruger, right or back row. Zach Urington with his swing. That one's long. He had a hole in the block.
Right, that time all 3 blockers from UCLA went outside. Daemen's been just putting the ball outside. And we talked they've got to mix it up. That one was a high ball behind, but they've got to do something instead of just feed it out and let Parker swing against all his hands. Unfortunately, Urington just hit it out of bounds from the back row.
Topspin serve to Donarovic. Watched as it go. It looked like he thought that the libero was going to step in. Gillette.
Yeah, that's tough by Parker in the back row. Who is it in the back row? The left back player. He had no block with him, but he can't duck that ball. He's got to go in and just kind of lay back and get hit with it.
Kofi Jimma, the server. Nice heavy topspin ball. Nice pass by Gillette. And that one swung on. That's out of bounds off the near sideline as Wingfield gets a kill through the middle off the block.
Okay, a little slow developing in that middle ball, but they still had 2 blockers with it, but they weren't encompassing him like you said, and Wingfield was able to put it off the block out of bounds for the point. So that's what Daemen's got to do, run something different.
Wingfield served into the net. It's an interesting
blocker in, or that other hitter rather, and let them run some 2, maybe let them run to the other pin, especially when Kruger's in the front row.
Served by Coburn, scooped up. Parker puts it off a hand of the blocker. Sent over on the free by Knight. Pushed outside Kruger to Donarovic. That one's long.
Good job by Coburn there in the back row for UCLA. Just got a knuckle on that ball. It looked like it was going to be a kill off the block for Daemen. And he just at the last second just lunged up and brought that ball back into the court, got behind the ball. Not sure what happened.
Not exactly sure what happened. Looked like Coach Spera wanted to reverse the point. Looked like the lines judge might have called something. It was overruled, and Spera wanted to go with the original call.
I think there was a touch, and the linesman didn't call it. The Daemen boys thought they were just going to come back and play, but good call on the UCLA coach Spera.
Alex Knight, the server here for the Bruins, 22-14. Top spin. Off the tape, Gillette able to scoop it up in the pass. Kruger outside. A little too far for Urington. That one's going to be outside the antenna.
Now that set to the outside from Daemen was a lot lower than they've been putting it. They've been putting them up high, and they've been getting eaten alive on the block. Urington came a little quick on that. They ran it a little bit lower, but he didn't stay out at the antenna. He actually came inside 4 or 5 feet, and they mishandled it. It was just a misconnection. He stays outside. I think they beat the block there.
Brandon Rattray will be the server here for the Bruins. Top spin, served to Gillette in the 6. Kruger pushed quick outside. Jack Urington with the kill. able to put it just out of the reach of Pender, find some space between the blockers.
Right, there it was again. That was that same lower set. They're getting it out to the antenna. That time Yerington stayed outside and was able to split the block. You saw the block wasn't able to form because the ball was quicker. There was a little bit of middle motion.
Served by Donarovich is long. The set point here for the Bruins. Grant Molesky, the server. Rather, we'll have a substitution here. Number 15, Danielle Matheny.
We have a server substitution. Serving for UCLA.
6'7" back row substitute. It must be a tough serve.
Jump float serve finds the tape. Wildcats with life here. It's going to be difficult, but they'll need service run by the defensive specialist, Ryan Beck. (24-16). Beck. Float serve, pass by Rattray. And that's ripped through the middle by the big middle hitter, Kofi, just like the last one.
We don't have any live stats here to see, but I think UCLA probably had 6 or 7, if not 8 blocks in that set, and it was all right in the middle after Daemen had a spurt in the beginning, and they found kind of an answer to split the block up late in the set.
Not sure if that was touched by Yerington, but the nice service by number 13, Zach Schneider, the incoming freshman for the Wildcats, able to get that one started off right, put it off a night. Serves to Pender. That swing by Jimma. Impressive run there on the 32 ball.
Good recognition by Yerington. He's the outside blocker, and he actually came in with Jimma and got hands on it. The middle hitter didn't see it. That's the hitter he's supposed to be assigned to. If he steps out, they might get the block there. But I think Jimma went off the top of the hands. UCLA sees that. They'll put the ball outside to, who's that, Knight out there?
That was ripped by Schneider out of bounds off the near sideline on the right side. Tia again, the server here. Bruins lead 2-1. Topspin serve to the libero Jaworski. And that's Yerington on the right side, puts it high off the blocker's hands, just out of the reach of Jensen.
Yep, good job. There's a little motion. They ran middle. Daemen did on that ball. They ran middle hitter came in motion, just froze Jimma for just a count. There's a little bit of a hole. Yerington was able to squeak it through the blockers.
Jake Cousins, jump serve for the Wildcats to Pender. Jensen puts it middle ball to Jimma, and that's a tip kill by Jimma in the middle of the court.
Yeah, Wingfield 6'4", and he must have felt like a little guy there because he had 6'8" and 6'10", and they were a foot and a half above him when they took that ball and pushed it over. Backcourt's just got to pick that up somehow.
Kofi Jimma, server here. Bruins with the 1-point lead, 3-2 the score.
And he's not going to block it straight down. He's just got to get hands on it and deflect that ball up.
Top spin serve, lost it a little bit. That one's long and wide. Knotted up 3 apiece here. Zach Yerington, local product from Hamburg, New York, will be the server. Top spin. That's an ace. Zach Yerington, the ace, puts it between Tia and the libero Pender.
Yeah, Pender and Tia, both of them leaned away from that ball. It's in the seam. You've both got to go get it. The angles that you're coming at, somebody's got to cut that off. You can't let it split you like that. Both players have to go get it. If anything, Clyde going after it.
Wildcats 4-3 the score. Pender the pass. Jensen outside. That's a nice run on the outside. Alex Knight gets the kill on the quick ball.
And that's the low ball that Daemen's been running at UCLA. That's their outside set. It goes maybe 7, 8 feet, 9 feet above the net. They beat the block up there. Yerington was all alone because the motion in the middle froze the middle hitter, and Yerington's one-on-one outside. That ball was hit before he set up.
Rattray's jump serve down the line for the ace, says Kyle Kahn, unable to handle it. 5-4 Bruins again with the 1-point lead here. Set number 2, they lead the match 1-0. Rattray this time long. Jump serve 5-5 the score. Kyle Kahn will be the server here for the Wildcats.
We've got hitters stacked for UCLA to the left side.
Serves off the tape. Jensen has to set back row Rattray, and that's not contacted by the block. Before contacts, the Bruins, Wildcats again, up 1 here, 6-5 the score.
Last year, Rattray led them with 3.33 kills per set, and without watching them, I guessed a lot of them were from the back row in this exact rotation where they have a front row setter because they got both the hitters stacked to the left, and he's the offense coming from the right.
Kyle Kahn served to Knight. He'll get the set on the outside, and that one's wide as he tried to find a hand, I believe, going cross court. Didn't do so. Took a healthy cut that direction, went right into the stands.
I think he, like you say, he just went after the hands. He was leaning outside and just pulled the ball back and just missed the hands.
Wildcats now lead 7-5. This time the serve by Kahn into the net. Alex Knight will be the server here for the Bruins. Topspin serve, Knight to Kahn. Kruger pushed outside. That one's ripped by Schneider, but Jensen steps in front. Put that block right where it needed to go. It looked like Schneider was going cross court all the way.
Schneider had a seam in that block, and he wanted to get away from Jensen's big block on the outside and turn. Instead of going through the seam, he put it right into the middle hitter's Knight's hand. I'm sorry, Molesky's hand.
I think Jensen might have got it. He turned around with a big flex as that serve by Knight. It's going to trickle over the tape.
I say do it again. That's just a tough one. That's just a groaner, a killer.
8-7 here. Bruins again with the 1-point lead. Jump serves to Schneider. Kruger outside. Zach Schneider cross court, cuts it 4-4. That set got all the way outside the antenna. Schneider got around it somehow and beat 6 hands.
Yeah, good job by Schneider to stay outside. And I think what happened is as they came back, Matuatea got behind the middle blocker, and that actually opened the seam up for him. Instead of 6 hands across, they had 2 hands, got behind the others.
Wingfield serve into the net. Bruins will take back over. It'll be Grant Molesky on the serve. Bruins again, 1-point lead, 9-8 the score. Molesky's serve into the net. 9-9. Here's set number 2. The Bruins took set number 1. The setter Kruger will be the server here for the Wildcats. Jump serves Matautia down the line. Jimma through the middle. That's touched on the block.
I'll tell you, Matautia. No, that's Jimin, I mean. Boy, he gets up in the middle and he contorts his body to get his hitting hand in position no matter where that set is. That ball was pushed past him a little bit. He kind of bent to his left and was still able to get out there, put the ball in the defensive seam. You see why he was one of the top middle hitters and his last year was recognized as the top middle hitter in the country.
Mads Jensen serve. That's a nice, healthy jump serve. Schneider put it very close to where it needed to be, but it was a little fast for the setter. Kruger unable to get there. He's coming right from behind him.
Right, good job by Schneider to just get to that ball. I think Kruger needs to just dive for that and just pop it up in the air. He thought it was going to hit the tape or the net, I think, and he wanted to pull it out of there.
Jensen again the serve. Jump serve this time to the libero, Jaworski, and that's going to be another ace.
Yeah, Jaworski got to that ball. It was within his body width, and he swung at it to his left and pushed it. What he had to do is step and stick his hands out behind it and just block it into the middle of the court. But he put his hands together and then anchored and out to him, and he was able to hit it to the right of the block for the kill.
Zach Snyder the serve, topspin to Knight. Jensen back to Matautia, tips to Jaworski, picked up. Kruger sets Kahn, goes deep to Pender in the corner. Jensen, that's a middle ball, if I've ever seen one, to Jimma, puts it down.
Yeah, that was nice. He put it right into the hole. There was a seam there between Kahn and who's the middle blocker up there? I didn't see it, but I think Kahn kind of defended himself. He needs to press his right hand right at the ball and at least deflect the ball up and not let it come straight down.
Tautia to Jaworski, set right side. Urington into the waiting arms of the blockers. Looked like Knight and Jimma both there.
Yeah, that's that block, again, that it just encompasses the hitter. Urington had nothing he could do with that ball.
Tried to cut it down the line, but again, there was really no right answer. 15-10 here, Bruins with the lead. Matautia the serve.
Nice
That's
pass.
the Snyder. Pushed outside Kahn, cross court. Pender with the dig. Jensen outside. Knight high off a hand. Jaworski will have to handle the second. Schneider with a swing from the back row, and that's into the net.
Hey, nothing wrong with that point. The block took a little pace off that ball. They just got fingers on it when, who's it out there, the outside hitter? It was Matautia. They took a little pace off. They brought it up. It just hit the ball in the tape from the backcourt, but it was a good aggressive point.
Tautia to Jaworski in the 6. Kruger sets Urington, tips off the block. That was a nice play there by Urington. He showed the tip right away, waited for the blockers to come on the way down and push it off the hands.
I think Knight saw it coming and tried to pull his hands away. I think if he presses forward, at least it keeps the ball in play, but by trying to pull his hands away from it, Urington was able to push it off his forearm out of bounds.
Cousins the serve. That top spin doesn't make it over the net. In fact, it's into the bottom tape. Looked like it got away from him.
Yeah, he was either trying to look one way and serve somewhere else or just miss the ball.
Kofi Jimma, the server here, 17-11 the score. That's an ace serve by Jimma. Put it right in the corner, just in front of the near lines judge.
I tell you, Jim's given name is Daemen. With a name like Daemen, how did he not come to Daemen? So it's they didn't have a program when he came out of school. So good player.
That serve off the
He got
back of the head
right
by
Rattray.
Rattray. Turns and smiles. 18-12 here. The Bruins still with the lead. The Wildcats will send out Zach Urington, the
they
server.
put their hands on the back of their heads when they serve so they don't get called for screening, but I think maybe they're just protecting the back of their heads so they don't get a concussion. So
Urington, topspin, Matautia with the pass. Jensen goes right side. Rattray into the hands of Kahn. That's a kill. Tools it off the block of Kahn.
yeah, Kahn got right there. He just let that ball hit him in the forearms instead of the hands, so it bounced off him, both hands, and just deflected out of bounds. You get it in your hands, you can push it where you want it to be. Just turn your wrists and deflect.
19-12, Bruins with the lead. Rattray, the serve. Topspin to Kahn, middle. Wingfield, now it's a kill. Jahari Wingfield through the middle, high off a hand, and put it inside the far sideline.
Yeah, good job by Wingfield. He didn't run at the body mass of Molesky. He ran to his left and was able to squeeze the ball between the blockers. When they're running a 6-2 again, they've got Coburn in the set, and they're letting Jensen hit. All their hitters are stacked left.
Pender the pass. Sets Knight. That one ticked the pinky finger of Wingfield just out of the reach of the sprawling Daemen defender.
Right.
Threw him off just enough as it was deflected.
They would have got me too because Knight was in the front row, and I was looking at Tuatei as being the other outside hitter.
Knight, topspin. That's out of bounds off the end line. 14-20, the Wildcats trail here by 6.
I'll tell you, Daemen's showing well here. They really are. They're not melting. They're coming back. They found some answers when things didn't work for them.
Wingfield serve into the net, 21-14.
And again, a miss serve like that into the net, that ball before that was a miss serve. A lot of heavy topspin, aggressive ball. It just went long. There's a chance they play it. You put it in the net, the other team doesn't have a chance to play it. It's just a free point.
Adam Parks will sub in here for the Bruins. Molesky's serve. The Jaworski, and unable to handle it is Jaworski. It's out of bounds.
Yeah, Jaworski tensed up when that ball got to him. You got to relax and just kind of push behind it, and he just tensed up and let it bounce off him. It went straight back over the net, out of bounds. If he just relaxes and pushes behind it, he cushions it and brings it up to his side for the center to handle.
Molesky again, the serve here. That one's off.
That's with Daemen. Like I said, they haven't wilted. They've stood right up to everything. They first set they really ran into a problem with that big block that UCLA puts up, but they found an answer for it late in the first set, and they've been able to use that. There's only been a couple times this whole second set where the block has just completely clamped them. But they're scrapping. They're playing. A couple little things they need to work on, and I think they're going to be in good shape with the schedule they play.
Served by Molesky into the net. Nice time out there by Coach Gleason, slowing things down.
Yeah, that's always the strategy, to come out and get that missed serve afterwards. But you've got to be impressed with UCLA. You see a lot of kinks in the game that they have, too, that things they're trying to iron out with this swing through Toronto and up to play some East Coast teams early in the season. But you see why they're ranked number 2. They've got a lot of talent.
Kruger, middle ball. Looked like Cousins tried to cut it back, had the space as Jimma was handling the power angle. The cutback was open. It just hit the tape.
He had it. What happened is as he went to cut back, he dropped his elbow down, and he was hitting it right in front of his face. If he stays high and just turns his wrist, he's past the block on that. But he pulled his elbow right down and brought that ball into the tape himself.
Adam Parks' serve into the net on set point here in set number 2. Zach Snyder will have to run the table.
But just that presence in the middle, Ryan, is why that outside block is not clamped down on the Daemen hitters this set.
Zach Schneider. That ball is in the net, and the Bruins will walk away with the second set victory here, 25-16. They lead the match.
They'll be the first team to pay for themselves, and Daemen, they didn't do it, and now Daemen's done it. So kudos to Daemen. This is a big step for him.
Well, Coach John Spera recently visited on the
we had 4,200 people
on the Jerry Sullivan Show, 1270 The Fan, and he had an opportunity to sit down with the coach for about 15 minutes and discuss this match and volleyball in general, the growth of the sport in the men's game, and mentioned the fact that the Western New York hotbed has been untapped in terms of having their own team for a while. Right. There's a lot of recruits, including the likes of Matt Anderson and others that have done well nationally.
You played against Matt Anderson, didn't you, Ryan, in high school?
I've had a couple of run-ins with Matt Anderson. That's a match I'll never forget when you get smoked in the face by the.
Ryan was a freshman. His brother was a senior, and Matt was a senior for West Seneca. Ryan dug the ball with his forehead.
It'll happen when there's no blocker and you're standing inside the 10-foot line. But he wasn't as tall as he is now, and he's certainly improved his game. That's probably hard to believe. Matautia from the right side puts that one off the blocker's hand, gets the kill.
Yeah, just a touch by Moffitt there. It's a good cover. UCLA is a quick team. That ball was blocked straight down, and they got right under it and popped it up, kept it alive. And again, they've got their top lineup out here. So
Matautia with a strong serve to Jaworski. Set outside, that's ripped on there by Parker, but out of bounds.
Yeah, the match we had with Penn State and USC, there was 4,200 people in the crowd, and I told Nelson, if you start men's volleyball, it will be the first program at UB to pay for itself, and unfortunately they didn't do it.
Matautia again to Jaworski in the 6, back row, Schneider. That one's going to go wide off the far sideline into the Bruins bench.
Now Daemen can't try to get too fine here. They've found ways to split the block and open holes up. They've just got to be aggressive and take good swings at the ball. That time he cut around it and just hit it wide.
Matautia, deep jump serve. That one's long.
Good recognition by Jaworski. Went with that ball to the end line and fouled it right out of bounds. And again, I apologize. We don't have live stats to know what service errors and blocks and kills people have. So.
Moffitt, jump serve to Knight. Back row ball, Matautia to Kruger. Cousins has to handle the second. Urington tried to go down the line. That one's not going to make contact with the block as it's into the tape. Looked like the block was there anyways. Knight had a nice forward block on the line.
Urington wasn't, timing was just a little bit off there. I think the only shot he had was to just tip it up over the block.
Kofi Jimma will be the server. Bruins with the 4-2 lead here, lead the match 2-0. That's off the tape. It's going to fall for the kill, or for the ace, rather.
Yeah, the only chance they had there, that ball in the tape, is that Jaworski was after that ball, hit the tape and just changed direction, was for Kruger to step back and just pop it up in the air as a free ball. But he lost sight of it.
Jimma, again the serve. Into the net this time. Wildcats will take back over here. 3-5 the score. Zach Urington will be the server. Had the opportunity to coach Zach when he was in high school. Southtown's Volleyball Club is an impressive young man. He went to Ohio State for his undergrad. He's here as a graduate student.
Now his mother's the one that came over and talked with us for a while.
Number 9, Brandon Rattray.
Rattray will be the server for the Bruins. 6-3 the score. Jaworski, the pass, Cousins through the middle, picked up by Matautia in the 6, tipped by Knight. Jaworski gets the touch. That's going to make contact with the rope outside of the antenna.
Yeah, Jaworski was square to the tape. The ball came from his right. He stayed square to the net, and the ball went out to his left. He's got to tip his shoulders a little and block that ball up to the middle of the court. He got there. He just needed that little subtle movement to keep the ball back in play. Earlier in that play, the ball, Cousins ran out of the middle. He hits that back to his left into the one zone. I think he's got a kill.
Cole Kaczynski will sub in for the Bruins. Kruger pushed outside. Parker into the hands of Molesky, picked up. Schneider outside again to Parker, high off the hands, scooped by Pender. Outside quick ball. The Knight tips it. Kruger able to scoop it, sent over on the free. Short to Molesky. Jensen with the swing. Touched by Molesky. Jensen this time will make contact with the net.
Parker got his hands on the ball twice. That's an example. You don't have to block the ball straight down to be effective. You just have to get in the way and deflect it up. Good job by Parker. Stayed square to the net, moved along.
Jensen seemed animate that he was going to get that kill on that point.
Yeah. I don't think he jumped up and tried to go over. He tried to come straight down and put it right in Parker's hands the second time.
Parker, the serve, Pender, tight ball, touched on the block by Jensen. This time, Kruger cuts it just out of the reach of Molesky on the block.
Yeah, Molesky was reaching high and across, and Kruger hit that ball low and quick right in his armpit. Was that Snyder that jousted with Jensen?
Parker serves long. Good eye there by Kaczynski. Able to watch it.
Yeah, I see good things from both teams. Daemen's proven to themselves that they can play against a top big team. They're not going to be afraid of anybody that's bigger than they are as they play this year, because UCLA is definitely bigger than they are. And UCLA is just ironing the kinks out as they get ready for their conference season.
Kruger, back row ball to Parker. That would never made it over the net.
He had a little bit of a seam there, too. That was a little bit lower than the back row balls they've run before. So the block wasn't quite able to close over. He just, like you say, hit it into the tape.
9-5, Knight again the server here for the Bruins. It's a nice serve, just snuck over the tape. Jaworski, looked like Jaworski thought it might have made contact with it. 10-5. Bob, what can you say about the match that's been played so far by the visiting Bruins?
Well, they're, like I said repeatedly, they're ironing the kinks out. They're playing the people that are going to play most of the season for them. They haven't really cleared their bench and put a lot of people in, so they're trying to come out and iron the kinks out, work on some plays, the meshing and the cohesiveness that they have on defense. But you can see the talent that's there. These guys are just going to be tough. When they get to the end of the season in the NCAA tournament, they're going to be a tough team to beat. They've got all the things. They've got quickness. They've got defense. They've got big blocks, a lot of attacking from all over the place.
Knight serve coming out of the timeout into the net. We'll again chalk that one up to Coach Gleason. Well-timed timeout.
And they've got who came in? Cole
Kaczynski
came in off the bench.
Cousins to Kaczynski down the line. Jensen tips deep. Cousins picks up. Yerington had to handle his second, tipped by Schneider, and that's going to be a net violation.
Now that's the second ball that Jensen's tipped like that. He's up, way up over the other people when he's tipped at 6'10" with those long arms. Both times he's tipped the ball really, really high and allowed the six diggers to get there. He's got to push that ball more of a line over the block deep to the corners for kills.
Cousins' serve will be outside the boundary. The near sideline, it trickled over the tape.
I know we talk in the girls' game that you tip the ball up and over and just behind the block for the kill. The other thing that you do is you push the ball past the diggers into the back corners, and that's what Jensen could do with his size.
Ian Parrish will sub in here for the Bruins. Swing in the middle. Molesky, the server, that one's into the net. Center Kruger will be the server here for the Wildcats. That serves long. Got a little bit too far underneath it.
Yeah, you see the UCLA coming into the gym, Pepperdine coming into the gym for Daemen is a big program builder. The players that looked at their program last year that ended up going to some of the local Division III teams and Rochester teams, they're not going to play the UCLAs and the Pepperdines. But Daemen is, as a Division II school, they'd be able to play some people. They're probably going to get most of them on the road, but this is nice to get them here. This has something to do with the grant that they got when they started their program, that part of it was that teams would come in and play. So they take advantage of this and build their roster. You never know.
Mads Jensen be the server here. That serves to Schneider. It looked like Jaworski might have been right there, and he stepped in front, put it off the far wall.
I'm okay with Schneider cutting in front of him, but the problem was Schneider, instead of cutting in front of him diagonally forward, actually came backwards into him. He's got to cut it off, get his arms out, and block that ball. What he did by going backwards is he let the ball bounce off him. If you come forward, you're going to control it.
Jensen served to Parker. Kruger, right side. Schneider, and that one's long.
Excuse me, I'm having a coughing attack there. What I'm talking about with Schneider is that if you're coming forward through that ball and can cushion it, you're the aggressor, therefore you control it. If you go backwards, it's just bouncing off you and you have no control really where it goes. So you've got to be aggressive to the ball. More of a spectator crowd from the community, and it's kind of quiet in the gym. But it's nice to see the gym full again for volleyball.
Zach Yerington puts that off the head of the blocker, Ian Parrish. It's a second chance. This time it's wide off the near sideline, or the far sideline, rather.
And you saw that ball outside was higher than they've been setting it. It was kind of out of system, but there wasn't forehands clamping on it because Daemen's been able to run some other balls. They've run the middle, they've run some back row, they've moved the ball around a little bit, so the block in that scramble play wasn't able to set up for UCLA.
Jensen's serve, tried to take a little off it. That one's in the net.
Yeah, that's the same set that they missed when they brought the sub in the second, or in the first end of the first one. They're trying to serve the ball short, but they're trying to do it just by skimming the net with their length and the extension. You got to put a little air under that ball and let it drop over the net.
Donarovich will serve here for the Wildcats tonight. That's put down. Ian Parrish through the middle off the set by Adam Parks.
That good run by Parrish. He hit that ball. He was in the air before the ball got into the setter's hands, and he hit that ball before the blockers for Daemen got. They were just leaving the ground, so blockers got to be a count sooner if the hitter's going to be there that fast when the setter's up in the air still.
Kaczynski the serve to Donarovich. That's an overpass. Ian Parrish knows exactly what to do with it. Puts it into the corner out of the reach of Jaworski.
I know it's an awkward ball, but Moffitt, as a front row player, he's the only one that has a chance there. He can't squat down and cover floor. He's got to go at the ball with his hands and take away floor. That way he helps his backcourt players by deflecting that ball up.
Kaczynski's serve this time into the net.
He's in position. He's trying to get ready to come take an approach on that, and it's an overpass. And Parrish just put that ball straight down, but the only chance the defense for Daemen had on that ball and the overpass was if Moffitt, who's the only player anywhere near it, throws his hands in the way and at least takes floor and maybe deflects the ball up for a free ball.
Jaden Gillette will sub in here and serve for the Wildcats. Serves to Knight. Picked up nicely in the 6th spot. Parker will tip. Blocker is Parrish. Trickles over. Parrish puts over a free. Donarovich, right side. Yerington puts it off the right hand of Parrish, out of bounds off the near sideline.
And that's what you do sometimes against a big block. You just swing hard. That ball hit Parrish, not in the hand. It hit him in the forearm and bounced out of bounds. Parrish drops his hands into that. He can deflect that down into the court, but Yerington hit it quick enough that he got his arms.
That swing on the right side by, who was that out there? Rattray, right side. Put it long. Gillette will go short. Picked up by Kaczynski, tipped through the block by Knight. Nice play there by Knight, able to find some space as it looked like Kruger didn't quite get set, was drifting a little bit towards the pin.
Yeah, they handle those balls really well. Their length, the length of the arms on the UCLA people, their height allows them to reach to all those balls. Daemen would be a little shorter, like he has to set up, move over, and square up on balls.
19-12 here. Bruins with the lead. Parrish, the server. That one's into the tape. Be a service error by Parrish. Yerington will be the server for the Wildcats. Zach Yerington, jump serve. That's an ace by Zach Yerington. He splits Kaczynski and Knight in the 5-6 seam.
Yeah, Adam Parks is in setting now, and they've got, like you said, Kaczynski in, and they've had Parrish in, so they're bringing in some of their second-line players for UCLA. But
this time, Yerington serves long.
Didn't miss by a lot, straight down the line. I think Yerington thought it was in.
Wildcats now trail by 6 here, 20-14, late set number 3. It'll be Rattray, the server for the Bruins. Jump serves into the net. Wildcats will take back over on the serve. 15-20, the score. Parker will be the server. Another topspin serve. That time it's going to go long for Parker. Knight and Rattray just turn and watch it. It'll be Knight, the server here for the Bruins. Jump serve to Gillette in the 6. Kruger. Back row ball to Parker. He'll have to set it over. Mistimed it. Pushed to Rattray, and that's a kill by Rattray through the hands of Donarovich. Looked like it pinballed between them.
Yeah, Donarovich got there, but he had his hands wider than his shoulders apart. Like you say, a pinball. If he just presses his hands at that, he blocks it down. I'm impressed with Gillette. He had a real nice dig before. That was a tough pass that he got, and he's able to get out behind the ball and cushion it. Real nice play. There's another one.
Gillette, the pass in the 6. Kruger outside. Donarovich cross court. Nice swing there, able to beat the libero power.
And that time, Chris Oram for UCLA moving to the right out of the middle. Looked to me like he came just a hair off the net, so as he pressed, there was an angle to go past him. So he's got to stay square on the net, but outside hitter took advantage of it for Daemen. Got the kill.
Cousins will be the server for the Wildcats off the tape. Power with the pass. Set outside. Kaczynski rolls. Through the middle, Moffitt touched on the block. The middle hitter, Oram. Back row ball, and that's Rattray for the kill just inside the end line.
Yeah, Parker was in no man's land there. He was reacting, thinking the ball was coming out of the middle, and he had to turn back at the last second. Rattray from the back row. That's part of the men's game. That's a big part of their offense is the right side from the back row. And Parker just couldn't square up to that hitter, and the ball went right by him.
Served by Orms into the net. Wildcats take over here. Kruger will be the server. Kruger served to Knight. Back row ball tonight, tips, and that's out of the reach of Kruger.
Yeah, UCLA hasn't really hit the ball out of the back row. I remember Matuatea one time coming out and really hitting it hard. Everything they've done has been a tip to that spot between the 1 and 2 zones right there.
That was touched on the overpass. Parrish gets the kill.
Good job
That's
by
the
Parrish.
match for the Bruins. They'll take this one in 3 sets. This third set, 25-17. The